President Trump was right. Remember back in 2017 when President Trump said they were spying on me in the press and all the Democrats said no, they weren't. And then in 2019, then Attorney General Bill Barr said spying took place at the FBI on President Trump's campaign. Well, now we know for sure it was worse than we thought. That is what is so frightening here. You had the government working with the Clinton campaign to go after the Republican Party's nominee for president to spy on that campaign. We've never seen anything like this in history. And the American people deserve the truth. We want to know that what exactly happened. And we want to make sure that this kind of stuff never happens again.
But that's the problem, Representative Jordan. They did do it again. Now this weekend, we're learning that not only did Hillary Clinton's campaign get away with spying on, get this, Trump Tower, the White House server, Trump's apartment server, what appears to be his doctor's server, but also the White House server, both before he was president and once he was sworn in. Having gotten away with that, they said, what the heck? We'll make Watergate a criminal operations manual. So, as we learned last week, they weaponized the Capitol Police and had them dressed as construction workers, breaking into Republicans' offices and spying. We also learned last week that the Democrats are beginning to replicate this at the congressional level, that after weaponizing the Capitol Police, they sent them off to spy on Republican, not Democrat, of course, fundraisers held by private individuals at private homes, even digging into their tax records, their backgrounds to find any dirt on them. That's illegal too, just like the spying Hillary did. So not only is this Clinton spying Russiagate scandal worse than Watergate, it's ongoing. Again, they've adopted it as an operations manual. Maria Bartiromo at Fox Business, her reaction to all of this was the correct one, the one a sane media would have.
This is the biggest scandal we have ever seen.
And she's right. We just watched the biggest political scandal in America ever in American history break on television this weekend, and much of the mainstream media didn't even cover it. Can you imagine if Watergate happened and they simply ignored it? The New York Post summed up these revelations this weekend the best in this editorial. So there you have it. They wrote, Russiagate, the collective delusion that Donald Trump was secretly a Russian agent, aided and abetted by the Kremlin. The topic of uncountable inches, they write. In the Washington Post, the New York Times, the entire primetime lineup of MSNBC was a dirty trick by Hillary Clinton's campaign. Not just part of it, all of it. It was a trick. Wasn't real. They continue, one of the most diabolical, successful misinformation campaigns ever concocted. Folks, this isn't the mainstream media being slanted or lying to you or misleading you on a story. This story was the story of the Trump era. The New York Times and the Washington Post won collective Pulitzers for it, for what now turns out to be fake news, a complete creative writing exercise. But also so much more than that. A bizarre psyop conducted by the left, the media, and our intelligence agencies to convince, and they did it with success, more than half the country that their president had somehow cheated, colluded with Russia to win the presidency, and was now completely or partly controlled by Vladimir Putin. It's bizarre in hindsight because it didn't happen. Yet the country was absolutely mesmerized by this, addicted to it. It was round the clock, and it wasn't real. Which is why I've been saying for a while, the media has stopped producing fake news or biased news and has begun concocting entire fake realities in which our country is our democracy itself is under attack by foreign powers. I mean, this is bizarre stuff. Let me explain what just happened this weekend, because there's a lot more than even Fox News is admitting. Simply put, what you're watching right now is John Durham, the investigator appointed by Bill Barr, working hard to get the CIA, the FBI, and the Department of Justice off the hook for their role in the Russia collusion delusion, a role that was absolutely criminal on the part of all three agencies. Their plan for getting the FBI off the hook for its many, many, many crimes committed in the service of Hillary Clinton and the idea that Trump was a Russian agent, their plan is to blame it on Hillary, to throw her under the bus, or more than likely her lower level campaign operatives, to throw them in prison and create the illusion that the FBI was the victim here, that they were misled by underlings who work for Hillary. So here's what happened. The FBI and the DOJ are hoping to pin it all on this Clinton campaign lawyer, Michael Sussman. He's charged right now with lying to the FBI about whether he was working for Hillary when he brought him the whole fake Russia-Trump collusion story. That way the FBI can say, see, we're the victims here. So the hope is we can pin this all on Sussman, or maybe some people above him, keep Hillary clean, keep the FBI clean, and keep the DOJ clean. So to do that, they threw tech executive Rodney Jaffe, who had extensive connections to the FBI, under the bus. Here's how the New York Post in their editorial today explains what he did. He desperately wanted a job with the Clinton administration, so he hacked Trump's servers on behalf of Hillary's campaign, cherry-picked privileged internet data he had access to, and molded it to look like something nefarious. Then he took it to the FBI. Well, not him personally. They had Sussman do it. He's the fall guy. That they dared to do this at all is shocking. That it started in July of 2016 during the campaign is shocking. But the fact that they continued to spy well into the Trump presidency is really shocking. Do you know what this means? It means what I said in the first year of the Trump presidency as all this began to break. That Trump looks like a free man, but he's not. He lives in a gilded cage where our intel agencies and hostile actors, like people associated with the Democrat Party, listen and watch. No conversation goes unrecorded. No phone call, no email, no text. The guy can't even go to the bathroom or make love to his wife in peace. Completely impossible. They listen all the time. It's like a prison. And it turns out I was right. Again, of the 5 entities that were hacked, one of them is a particular healthcare provider. In fact, they were going after Trump's medical information. Trump Tower, Donald Trump's Central Park West Apartment building, and the executive office of the President of the United States. That means, folks, let me translate. Going forward, unless this is stopped and these people are punished, which the main actors won't be, every Republican, as the cost of running for office, high office, will have to enter the gilded cage of constant surveillance by people who mean to take them down. People illegally spying with impunity. People who no one will stop. People who are in cooperation with the FBI and the DOJ. An FBI that not only allows this criminal spying, but uses it as a predicate to do their own spying. All of it for political purposes. All of it to take down anybody who stands in the way of total Democrat Party power. This is terrifying. Folks, we practically have state police agencies at this point. Let that sink in. Kash Patel, he's the former chief investigator for the Trump Russia probe for the House Intelligence Committee, said the filing, quote, definitively shows that the Clinton campaign directly funded and ordered its lawyers at Perkins Coie to orchestrate a criminal enterprise to fabricate a connection between President Trump and Russia. Okay, where did they take this information? Straight to the FBI. Oh, so it's the FBI that Durham got this from. Oh, no. No. This information that Durham is using actually came from John Ratcliffe. In fact, the only reason they have to do all of this is because under Trump, John Ratcliffe became the director of national intelligence and inherited a lot of this intel. John Ratcliffe took this to John Durham. That's why none of this came out when Sussman took this information to the FBI. The FBI knew about this. And you know how I know they knew about this? Because we have John Brennan, former CIA director's handwritten notes. In them, he went to Barack Obama in July of 2016 and warned him that Hillary was cooking this whole Russia collusion lie up. Even warned him in writing that it was fake. Do you think the CIA director did not share that information with the FBI? Damn Skippy, he did. Do you think if Barack Obama knew what was going on in his administration, he didn't share it with the FBI? Damn Skippy, he did. They all knew. Yet the FBI would go forward with this, terrorizing Trump for years. What is shocking is that the $40 million Mueller investigation, which was conducted by 36 FBI agents working for Mueller, almost all of whom had direct connections to either Hillary or Barack Obama, did not uncover this mess. Yet the $3.8 million Durham investigation did. Why? Because the purpose of the Mueller investigation was to cover up for Hillary, the DOJ, and the FBI, and to hide their crimes. Let's not forget how crazy this whole thing got. Remember when Trump said they were spying on him? Turns out Trump was right. Not only did the FBI embed someone illegally, by the way, because they had no predicate, they had no evidence of a crime. Not only did the FBI illegally embed someone in his campaign to spy on him, but Hillary Clinton's people were spying on him and taking what they got from his servers to the FBI. Wrap your mind around that. Trump's accusations that he was being spied upon were instead used by the media as evidence he was insane, a paranoiac, that he should be removed from the presidency because he clearly was mentally ill. Here's what that sounded like, in case you've forgotten. It went on for months.
President Trump has a new favorite word, and every time he uses it, he is lying. And that is the word spy.
The president is tweeting in high gear. He wants you to believe that his campaign was spied on, and it's one of the worst things that we've ever seen from government.
The notion that somehow the FBI planted someone inside the campaign to spy on the campaign is just not true.
But as Fox News pointed out this weekend, it turns out Trump was right. And the media, the DOJ, the FBI, and Hillary were lying.
The way they derided the president and everyone else who even suggested there was espionage or spying going on. When he came out and said they wiretapped Trump Tower. Remember the absolute, everyone lost their mind.
They said it was paranoid.
They worse than wiretapped Trump Tower. They did worse than people thought. And here we are. And I pray we can get to the truth. And you've emphasized it. We need some respect in our institutions.
Yeah, we've really lost trust in our institutions. But you're right. They said that he was neurotic. It became part of why they said that he wasn't fit for office, that he was mentally unstable. He turned out he was telling the truth. And actually, it was much worse. And my question is, if it went from, Trump Tower, his apartment, into the White House, who else could have known? Who's protecting our government and our information? If Hillary Clinton's team can spy on and have possession of a server that is spying on the president inside of the White House, that's huge.
We showed those.
Yes, it is huge. And it's worse than no one protecting our information. Nope, it's a weaponized CIA, FBI, Department of Justice, now, as we learned last week, Capitol Police, all working together to use intel they have access to help the Democrat Party into a position of complete power, working along with the campaign apparatus of the Democrats to shut down the Republicans using spying that was only ever supposed to be used to go after terrorists. Our founders had envisioned that the media would be the brake that would stop this train from hurtling downhill toward authoritarianism. But the honest media actually covering this is being censored, intimidated, bullied, and marginalized, in particular on social media. And the real media? Well, they've been preparing for these revelations for months, conditioning the sheep to ignore whatever John Durham finds. It started with Leslie Stahl in her 60 Minutes interview with Donald Trump, and then it rolled downhill from there. Durham's investigation's just a witch hunt, and if you believe that, well, you probably believe other conspiracy theories too.
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
Well, there's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Donald Trump and William Barr promised that Durham would expose huge corruption, but he hasn't done that.
Is apparently an ongoing, concerted Republican and pro-Trump project to try to turn the investigation of the Russia scandal into some kind of scandal itself.
Oh, no. Okay, wait till the Durham report comes out. And then nothing happens, and they just move on to the next conspiracy theory. It is never going to end. And guess what? People who want to believe that BS are going to believe it.